I'm Tim Spann, and like you said, time for something completely different. Um, I run a couple of meetups, blogs, and other things, but we're moving pretty quickly here, so we'll go through it. So I'm going to show you how to build edge applications, do it all with open source, so it can run anywhere. It could obviously run on, Azure or somewhere else when you're trying to get back to somewhere. But very often you have something like this, a tiny little device pushing out data, or you've got a Jetson box or Raspberry Pi or some commercial edge gateway, which could be a Dell server or something. You've got to get data off there. A very common protocol is MQTT. Now, the one thing with MQTT is a little older right now, so it may be a little hard to get it set up, or it might not scale the way you expect. So easier way to do that is using something called Apache Pulsar. This supports MQTT and a lot more. So it's a good way to get everything you need from that edge gateway and still be able to run clusters either on the edge or all the way up to a big cluster in Azure. So unified messaging, so we don't just have to do MQTT. There's native protocols. There's a lot of other protocol options. So when you need to message between different things, and I'll show you a lot of different things can message between each other, and you don't have to worry, oh, someone's doing C#, someone's doing Java, someone's doing Go, someone's doing Python, someone's on a little device, someone's on a server. Doesn't matter. We guarantee the messages will get there. Things are resilient. It's not going to crash on you. Lots of redundancy built in, and scales up, powered by things like Azure Data Lake. So we could store every message you're ever going to see. Some of the largest cloud vendors in Asia use this for multi-petabyte scale. So no worries there. I could start as small as having one little thing in my house, getting a few hundred messages, just, trillions of messages, no worries there. The design is set up so once I get past those things off the edge, I could scale up as big as I need to. It's cloud native design. So scale up separately from how many people want to interact with messages versus how many are storing it. And we mentioned all that, those different protocols. So I've got the MQTT in there, but I've got things like Rabbit, ActiveMQ, SQS, or you want to do Kafka style streaming. All that's supported by using Apache Pulsar, again, which runs pretty much anywhere. A lot of connectivity options. So once I get data in there from, say, MQTT, I don't have to pull it out that same way. So that makes it easy. I don't have to worry, oh, do I have that library on my application platform or on my web site? Don't worry about it. Lots of different options there. Whether you're picking one of those languages I mentioned, or C++, or Spark, or Flink, I could connect with a lot of different protocols. I could process this with SQL, with things like Spark SQL or Pulsar SQL, which is Trino underneath, and have that data streaming out to tiered storage, wherever that may be. Very easy to grab things from small devices, really tiny devices, servers, desktops, wherever that data is. Doesn't really matter. And your choice of protocols in and out. What's nice is I don't care that this guy's pushing MQTT. He doesn't know anything about Pulsar. Doesn't matter. When I'm pulling the data out, I could use a native protocol. I could use Kafka protocol. I could use WebSockets, REST. Lots of different protocol options. Things like Spark and Flink already have connectors there, so you could just run those very easily. And we have built-in sync, so you want to push that data as it arrives somewhere like Elastic, like just a data store, a database, SQL Server, doesn't matter. Very easy to do that with no code. We mentioned MQTT. That is sort of our gateway to this universal messaging. MQTT is the native protocol for a lot of different IoT devices. It was created by IBM a long time ago. Fortunately, you don't have to try to look up one of those old servers or one that may not be powerful enough to support all your use cases. We could just use Pulsar as an MQTT broker, and the clients don't have to know any different. Use the same ports you want, same naming conventions, same names for topics. Looks exactly the same from the outside, but inside we've got that cloud native infrastructure to scale out a lot bigger and support all different protocols, so you're not tied into a box. And when it comes down to it, very easy to send messages, whether you're doing it natively or you're doing it through MQTT. Lots of different options there. Like I mentioned, there's a native data store for Azure Data Lake, connectivity for NiFi. I've heard government. Chances are you're using NiFi. We got a native connector for Apache NiFi. If I want to use MQTT, there's a lot of libraries out there, and they're unrelated to having to do Pulsar. You just have connect to your client. It's usually on port 1883. You could change that. You put in the topic name, you put in your data, send away. Again, you could send JSON, you could send XML, text, Avro, some proprietary format. It's just bytes. MQTT doesn't care. Pulsar doesn't care. You could obviously send more complex formats and maybe have a schema, but that can be handled later. Let's get into a demo because we want to get this as quick as possible. One thing I want to show you, because we are a Microsoft-friendly crowd here, I want to show you some of the things I could do with Visual Studio. Hopefully I can get there. Sometimes, here we go. Very simple here. I could also have used the MQTT protocol from .NET here. Simple C# program, import my libraries, connect to a topic, put a URL. If there's a login, there's like 70 different ways to do authentication in Pulsar. I've got this off because this is in an old one-use server sitting 2 feet away from me, so I didn't secure it. You build up your client, build a producers who's sending the data, and send the data in some format. If I don't have a schema, it's usually just UTF-8 encoded, makes it simple. I put a key in there. Keys are great if you're going to send messages anywhere, so you could identify them, debug them. Good idea to have. Send it out, ready to go. Let's just make sure that this is working. Do my .NET build here. I love the fact I could do .NET on a Mac with no worries here. So we did that first part. I sent this message, and I received a message. If you're wondering, this will just be in a loop for as long as I want, waiting to receive messages. And I've got messages from a number of different places. I've got them in over here. I'm sending this from Python. So what's nice is it doesn't matter what language it is. You want to interface between languages, no problem here. And again, protocol doesn't matter. If I want to send things from MQTT, I send it to MQTT. It's still going to Pulsar. Here, I'm just going to send it. This is coming from a Raspberry Pi using MQTT from a Python app. And I could read that in a C# app. I could read it in Spark. Could read it anywhere I need to, very simply. Here, this is the built-in Pulsar SQL, which is just Trino Presto. And I can access that from applications, from notebooks, or as an example, here I'm going to use a simple tool from for accessing databases. Looks just like a regular database, and I'm just querying it. Again, just looks like tables. The only thing different is if you don't set up a schema, it puts in some automatically created columns. Gives you things like event time, message ID, all those kind of built-in things. I know we're running low on time here. I've got all this in GitHub. I posted those links out. Those should be available to you later if you want to try things out, like using a simple, cheap device here to practice MQTT. Shows you how to set up everything you need to run that. Pretty straightforward. Get in touch with me. All my information is out there. I put everything out in the open source. I put all the slides out there, all the templates, articles, everything you need to do. And again, this can run anywhere, whether you're doing it for hobby or you need to scale out to, billions of transactions a second. Don't care about protocol. Let's just do some messages everywhere. Do I have Any time left? I think we're pretty close here.
You've got
I
like
faster
30
than I thought.
seconds left if you're going to go. Yeah. If you've got something to do for a minute, then go for a minute. No problem.
Sure. Like here,
You don't
again,
have
what's
to.
cool. You don't have to. Yeah, I would just say definitely check out my GitHub. There's a lot of examples out there, whether you're doing C# or Python or Go, Spark, Flink, lots of different options out there for doing MQTT. Do the back way of using Apache Pulsar that lets you opened up to all these different options. Thanks for coming to the talk. Stay around for more. These are pretty awesome to get this many done quickly. Thank you.